Hello everyone, welcome to session 7 of Countdown to Christmas 2022. This is the last session of the weekend. I don't know quite how we got to that point, but yeah, the last session of the weekend. I hope you had a wonderful time making all the December album pages if you did the December album option. If you made layouts, I hope you had a wonderful time making all those fabulous layouts. I'm quite jealous, they are awesome. So anyway, this is session 7, the last session of the weekend, and we are using this fabulous That Festive Feeling cut file by Petri Cut Files. You may have noticed that on screen that I have spent some time already cutting out that big cluster on one of those Simple Stories papers of flowers. Now, I cut that out thinking that I was definitely going to use that on this layout, and in the end I didn't. So I did that and used it on my extra inspiration layout. So do check out the extra inspiration layout because all that fussy cutting is definitely worth it. It's a really beautiful spray of flowers. I just couldn't make it work with the cut file. So ignore the fact that I've done that. What we're going to do now is going to cut all of the letters out to backfill the cut file. So I used the cut file as a template to draw around the letters, and then I cut them out with my scissors and then stuck them on the back with glue. And then I'm going to put that cut file, that backfilled cut file onto my layout and stick it in place with foam pads. However, now you can see that I'm faffing around trying to figure out how to use that big piece on the right. And you can probably see why it doesn't really work. It's because the word feeling gets lost in the flowers. So I tried the other way around. That didn't really work either. I tried at the top. That didn't work either. So it should go in the bottom right corner, but it doesn't go with this cut file. So if you check out the extra inspiration layout, I have used that and I've used the inner parts from the word festive to create a title. So it's definitely all worth doing, all worth cutting out, but just make sure that you don't cut through those flowers when you're cutting out things from that paper. That's the one with the lines on it. So now that I've backfilled my cut file, I'm going to spend some time cutting out some flower sprays from this beautiful pattern paper here. Now, don't look at these and completely freak out that you have to cut around every leaf and every fern. You don't. I focused mostly on the flowers themselves. I did cut around some of the bigger leaves, but on the whole, I mostly just cut around the flowers because they're very fussy and they would be very difficult to cut around. You're welcome to do it if you want to, but I didn't feel the need to. I just felt that the flowers themselves were what I was mostly after. So I think I did the first one really detailed and then was like, no, I'm not doing any more. So then I focused mostly on the flowers. Okay, so I have spent some time cutting quite a few of those. I've just cut a strip of paper from that poinsettia paper to go down the left-hand side of my layout and distressing the edge. And then I've got that red strip from the Mix and a Mingle cardstock stickers that I'm going to tuck underneath that edge. So I've just distressed the edge of that piece and folded it up quite a bit, and now I'm just tucking in that scallop. I love that scallop, it's just a lovely look. It needed foam pads because it kind of sunk a bit. The edge of the piece of paper is quite folded up, so it kind of got a bit lost underneath there. So I've just raised it on foam pads. It doesn't go 12, it's not 12 inches long, that scallop border, so I've just positioned it centrally so that the same gap appears at the top as the bottom. Alternatively, you could cut it and hide the gap behind the little Santa that's going to go onto this layout. You could definitely do that if you wanted to. So I've got my strip on the left. My cut file is complete. I need to get that stuck down. It's currently got foam pads all over the back, but the backs are still on. I'm just mounting my photo. So I have a little photo from a couple of years ago, and I'm just mounting that onto some more of that lined paper and distressing the edges, of course. I'm going to tuck that into there, and I think that sits really lovely, actually. And then I'm going to offset the big photo area with a cluster in the bottom left corner as well. So I'm now just going to spend a little bit of time adding all the flowers that I fussy cut earlier. Just going to poke them in here, then there. I'm going to create some little clusters basically all over the cut file. So I was thinking that I should have some flowers to the right of the photo, but actually I decided I didn't really like those in the end, and I did move those over to somewhere else. And I'd also got some tucked into the border at the top. Again, I didn't like the position of those, so I ended up moving those down. So, when you're designing a layout, things go all over the place, really. You just sit and work out where things go, try things. If it doesn't look right, move it and see if that works better. So Santa is definitely going to go at the bottom of this layout. I love Santa. He's just super cute. He's kind of waving as well. I just think he's really sweet. So I'm going to stick him at the bottom there with a couple of flowers. I'm going to raise him on foam pads. He is a sticker from the cardstock stickers, but I've raised him on foam pads anyway, and I've just put a few flowers to the right of him, and then I'm going to add a bit more to that area as well. Over by the photo, I've decided that my cluster is going to go bottom left of the photo, and I've got a little chipboard piece that's a wreath. That's from the Decorative Brads, and then I'm coming back now to my my Santa area, and I've got a piece of ephemera that's from Mix and a Mingle. That's a tree, and I'm sticking that behind Santa. Kind of Santa and trees go together really quite well, so sticking that behind Santa. And then I'm just continuing to add lots of little bits and pieces to the layout. I've got just added a candy cane. That's a piece of chipboard also from the Decorative Brads. That's at the top of that little flower cluster up there. Adding in the flowers in that area, a red one and a blue one or a green one. I say haven't cut out a lot of the foliage on those flowers, so please don't worry about if you end up accidentally cutting through a leaf. It does not matter. At the bottom there, I'm just adding some cardstock stickers. They are little label stickers from the Mix and a Mingle cardstock stickers. I love the little phrases. I always think they're lovely. I've chosen Christmas party, fa la 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 la, and all is bright. I quite often distress the edges of those and pop them up on foam pads. This time I haven't distressed the edges, but I did pop them up on foam pads. Also the chipboard pieces I have stuck with foam pads because chipboard does tend to come off of layouts because chipboard is not flexible, whereas if you put some foam on the back of them, then automatically you get your flex. So if your layout flexes, hopefully your chipboards do not leave, which is they are meant to be on the layout, not anywhere else. So so that is how I get around that little problem. Okay, so just continuing to add bits and pieces here and there, pop things up. Things have to grow on me sometimes. I have to make sure that I'm happy with things in that area before I commit and stick them down. So that's what I'm doing with those label stickers right now. I also have another little flower sitting on top of the eye. I wasn't sure about that, so he sat there for a little while. Over on the right where my photos are, I've got the two flowers and the wreath, and then the little star that gets moved ever so slightly as well until I can commit to where I want to put him. I've just spent a moment fussy cutting out some of the tiny holly leaves on that same paper, the floral paper, because I felt that some of the other letters looked lonely, so I thought that they should have something on them as well. So I've got one on the F and one on the E. And then obviously the I has got its flower and jar sticker as well. Just making sure I'm happy with where my photo is now, so I'm just sticking that down properly by putting some foam pads behind the top section. And then I'm just going in and adding some Decorative Brads, Mix and the Mingle Decorative Brad set. So I've got two down by Santa, one up by the red flower at the top, one big one over on the right by the wreath. And then I just want to add a little bit of journaling. So I've just written a few lines with my grey journaling pen, and I've actually underlined it as well because I felt that it worked well. Sorry about the view of the top of my head there, my grey hairs. I just felt that the journaling under those label stickers worked well, and having the lines just reinforced the lines of the stickers. So I just felt that all came together quite nicely. You can underline journaling or not. It's entirely up to you, of course. I've just added some sequins. Just a few to each cluster. And when I say cluster, I mean the three main clusters. So Santa, the flowers under the photo, and the flowers at the top of that. I haven't put any by the little ones on the letters. I didn't want to overcrowd the letters. You know, I can get a bit carried away sometimes. So I just stuck those sequins with glossy accents to make sure they don't ping off later on. So they are well stuck with glossy accents. And that is that layout pretty much complete, other than the fact that I add a few splatters of white paint. If you don't have white paint, use any colour paint you like, or ink pads would work equally well. We don't have any mixed media in this kit, but so just raid your stash. And if you don't have anything, then just leave it plain. So that is the layout complete. I hope you have enjoyed this layout, this class, and I hope that you have enjoyed the whole of Countdown to Christmas, whether you did layouts or whether you did the December album option. I hope you have enjoyed what you have created. And the only other thing to say is Merry Christmas. Thank you so very much for joining us. We always love it when you join us. So yes, thank you very much. That marks the end of Countdown to Christmas 2022.